In this video, I will show you step by step on how to configure IPsec Remote Access VPN on FortiGate Firewall. For this demo, we will use this FortiGate Firewall 90G model that is running on firmware version 8.0. For FortiGate G series and firmware version 8.6 and above. The SSL VPN has been completely removed due to security reasons. Unfortunately, we are forced to use IPsec Remote VPN. Our goal for today is to allow remote users to access this FortiGate LAN network via this FortiGate public IP address anywhere, anytime as long as they have access to the internet. I also configured the dynamic DNS or DDNS. This will allow us to use the domain name instead of the public IP address, especially if you have dynamic public IP address which constantly changed. You can check my other video tutorial for the DDNS configuration. First is we will configure the remote user. Go to User and Authentication, then User Definition. We will create a new user. At the top, tick Create New. Type is local user, so just click Next. Enter the username of the remote user. In my case is Igorotech. Enter also the password. Make sure the password is complex, but for this demo, we will just make it simple. Click on the icon to verify your password. Click Next to proceed. We are not going to enable the two-factor authentication for now. Click Next. Make sure the user account status is enabled. Click Submit to save the configuration. We have now created one remote user. Next is we are going to create a user group. Go to User Group. At the top, tick Create New. We will give a name of remote users. You can give a name based on your likings. Type is Firewall. Under Members, tick on the plus symbol and add the remote user we just created. Click OK to save the changes. We just created a user group named Remote Users, and we can see the members of this group. Creating a user group is for easier management. We can just add new user or users to this remote user group. No need to modify other settings. Next is the IPsec VPN configuration. Go to VPN. Choose VPN Wizard. Give a tunnel name. We will give a name of IPsec Remote. Next is the template. Scroll down and look for Remote Access. This allows remote users to access internal networks securely from a public area. We can see here the supported remote clients for FortiClient, which are Mac OS, Android, and Windows operating system. Tick on it to select. We're not going to use the FortiClient Secure Internet Access because it requires a license. Click Begin to proceed. VPN client type should be FortiClient, and FortiClient management type is EMS. For the authentication method, we will use pre-shared key. You can use signature if you prefer. For the pre-shared key, make sure to use a complex one. You can put it on a notepad for you to be able to copy and paste it later on. Tick the icon to verify the entry. For the IKE version, we have the latest one, which is version 2, and the old, which is version 1. For better security, we will use version 2. For the NAT traversal, leave it enabled. For user authentication method, leave it to default and choose the remote user group we created earlier. For the DNS server, we can use system DNS or we can specify the server's IP address. You can enter your internal DNS if you have. If not, we can always use the free public DNS server, which is Google DNS or any public DNS you prefer. Click Next to proceed. You can go back anytime by ticking the plus sign to verify your configuration. For the addressing mode for connected endpoint, we will choose manual. We need to enter range of IP address. This will be the IP addresses that will be assigned to the remote VPN users. For this demo, we'll use 10.100.100.100 until 10.100.100.200. Leave the subnet to default. Enable Save Password for us not to enter our password every time we try to connect to the remote site. Enable Auto Connect to set the application to auto login to the specific VPN tunnel right after it starts or when a user logs into their computer. Enable Always Up. This keeps your VPN network connection constantly active, even without traffic or on idle. Click Next to proceed. Next is we need to choose the ISP or Internet Service Provider where we want to bind the IPsec Remote VPN. You must choose the correct one, especially if you have multiple ISP, because we will use the public IP address of this ISP to access this remote site. If you see this message, you can ignore it or you can change the admin port if you want it to disappear. You can check my other video tutorial for that on the link on the description below. You can enable Create and Add Interface to Zone. We will need this feature if we want to enable IPsec Remote VPN with failover. You can check my other video for that also. For the local interface, choose the local LAN network which you want the remote users to access. If you have multiple LAN or VLANs, then you can add it all here. For the local address, we will add the network address of the LAN interface. If you added multiple local interface, then you need to add all the local addresses of those interfaces. You can create new address if you don't have local LAN network address yet. Make sure you selected the correct address or else you will have some issues later on. Click Next to proceed. Now we need to review the following entries that will be created as part of the VPN tunnel. You can review all the entries. We can rename the entries from here. Simply click on the pin sign, then we can now modify the entry. We can change the entry name based on our preference. Once done, then click the Save icon to apply the changes. We can do the same process to the other entries also if we want. Once everything verified, then click Submit to proceed. Now we can see the newly created IPsec VPN. We're halfway done. We still need to configure more settings. Double-click on it to edit or choose Edit. We will change only the necessary entries. The rest, we will leave it to default. We can change the IPsec VPN name. Delete or modify the comments. We can see here the WAN interface we bonded to this VPN. You can also change here if you want. For mode config, we have IP version 4, IP version 6, dual stock, or choose both. For client IP or remote user's IP address, it auto-created an address for the IP address range we configured earlier, which is 10.100.100.100 to 200. We also set public DNS for remote users. Split tunneling is enabled and the LAN network address is already selected. If we disable the split tunneling, then all of the remote users' traffic will pass to this firewall. This includes the local LAN access and also the internet traffic, so we will use this firewall public IP address to access the internet. If we enable this option, then we will use our own internet connection for internet, but we can still access the remote site or this firewall local LAN securely. Leave NAT traversal enabled and dead peer detection 2 on demand. Next is the authentication. Earlier, we set it to pre-shared key. You can change it here if you want. IKE version 2 for better security. Leave the rest to default. User group is specified, and we added the remote user group we created earlier. We can change it also here if we want. Next is the Phase 1 proposal. Make sure to remember or take a note on these settings because we will use it later on if we configure the FortiClient. Encryption are the left entries and right is authentication. We need to add 2 lines because the FortiClient requires only 2 lines of encryption and authentication. The higher number, the stronger security. We cannot add 1 or more than 2. We can delete other default entries by ticking on the X sign, and we can add new entry by ticking on the plus sign. Next is the Diffie-Hellman groups or DH groups. Same concept, the higher number for stronger security. For this demo, we will just use 20. Again, if you want highest security, then choose all the highest entries, but it will slow down the connection. For the key lifetime, we will leave it to default. Now we will configure the Phase 2 selectors. By default, we have 1 entry. Tick on it, then tick Edit. Same process, we can remove the comments if we want. Leave the rest to default. We will only focus on the advanced settings. This is exactly the same concept from Phase 1. Usually what I recommend and what I usually do is I use the same settings for Phase 1 and Phase 2. Easier to remember and easier for management and configuration of the FortiClients. We will choose the same settings with Phase 1 or the encryption and authentication, and also we need to add 2 or more lines. We're not going to enable the L2TP. It's not secured and very weak security. We will set also the DH groups to 20, same with Phase 1. Leave the rest to default. Enable Auto Keep Alive to prevent disconnections during idle periods. Key lifetime to default. Click OK to apply the changes. Click OK again to save the settings. Notice the icon is still red or it shows down. This is because there's no remote users currently connected. If we check the network interface, We can see that it automatically created a network zone for the IPsec VPN virtual interface. Next is we will configure the firewall policy for this IPsec remote VPN. Go to Policy and Objects, Firewall Policy. Notice that it automatically created a firewall policy for the IPsec remote VPN. Double-click on it to edit. We can change the name based on our preference. Schedule to always. This means remote users can connect to the IPsec remote VPN anytime and any day. Action is accept. Incoming interface is the IPsec VPN virtual interface. Outgoing is the destination interface, which is the LAN. Next is the source and destination. Source would be the IPsec remote range that we created earlier. No need to add the user or user group because we already added it on the IPsec VPN settings, unlike SSL VPN. Destination is the network address of the LAN interface you want the remote users to access. Services to all. Best practice is to specify only the services required. This is for better security. For this demo, we will just choose all. Next is the NAT. Make sure to disable this option, or else you will encounter some issues. Now we go to the security profiles. Basically, you will enable the security profiles based on the services you're going to use, but it's best practice to always enable the antivirus, IPS, and certificate inspection. You can enable all available security profiles if you want. For this demo, I will disable it because this firewall is not yet registered or licensed. For the logging options, security events will only show logs for the security profiles enabled. Example is if you enable the antivirus, then only that will be on the logs. It's always best practice to choose all sessions for the firewall to record all the logs, and also troubleshooting purposes. Remove the comments if you want. Make sure the policy is enabled. Tick OK to apply the changes. We are now done with the firewall configuration. Next is the FortiClient. This is the newly installed FortiClient application. If you don't know how to install this FortiClient, then you can check my other video on the link on the description below. Once you launch the newly installed application, then you can see this window. Choose Configure VPN. Under New VPN Connection, choose IPsec VPN. You can give any name you prefer. This is usually the company name for your reference. Description is optional. For the remote gateway, we need to enter either the public IP address of the remote site or the dynamic DNS or DDNS. In my case, this remote firewall public IP address is 1.100.200.2. Alternatively, I can use the dynamic DNS or DDNS. It's recommended to use DDNS if you have dynamic public IP address. You can check my other video tutorial also. Authentication method is pre-shared key as what we configured on the firewall. Enter the pre-shared key you have set on the firewall. I have it on my notepad, so I can simply copy and paste it. Make sure you have entered the correct reshared key to avoid issues. All of the settings we are going to add here must match the configuration of the remote firewall. For the authentication, we will choose Save Login. This is for us not to enter our username and password every time we try to connect to the remote site. Now, enter your username. This is the remote user we created earlier on the firewall. Next is tick the Advanced Settings to expand. We have 3 settings to configure. First is the VPN settings. On the firewall, we use IKE version 2, so we must follow it here. You can open the Firewall IPsec settings configuration just to verify. Leave the rest to default. Next is the Phase 1. Tick the plus sign to expand. Same process, follow the firewall settings. You can save all the settings on a notepad and then share it to other users who don't have access to the firewall. We must follow exactly all the settings we configured on the firewall. For Phase 1, we configured 2 lines. We must match the encryption and authentication. Next is the DH group, which by default is already set to 20. Key lifetime is also default, so no need to modify. Next is the Phase 2. Same process. We can open the firewall Phase 2 to check the settings if we did not record it on a notepad. But again, personally, I use the same settings for Phase 1 and Phase 2. We need to match all the 2 lines of encryption and authentication. For Diffie-Hellman groups, tick the down arrow to view other options. Lastly, the key lifetime. We also leave it to default, so no need to modify. Tick Save to apply the changes. Next is enter the remote user password. Tick the icon to verify, then tick Connect. We are now connected to the remote site. It will automatically minimize the FortiClient application. You can go to your taskbar, tick the up arrow to view hidden icons. You can hold and drag it to the taskbar. Easier to monitor the application status. To view the connection status, right-click on it and then choose Open FortiClient Console. We can see here the connection details. We can see here the VPN name. The IPsec VPN remote IP address. Notice that we received the first IP address on the IPsec remote user range we created earlier. Username is the IPsec remote user username. Duration is how long the IPsec VPN is connected. Bytes received and bytes sent. We will come back to this later on. Now we go back to the firewall. You can see the icon has been changed to green and up arrow, which means the connection is up. This is because we are currently connected to it. Under Status, you can tick on it to view more details. Notice the name is auto-generated, IPsec Remote 0. So if another user will connect, then the name will be IPsec Remote 1, and so on. It will follow the sequence. Remote Gateway is the remote user IP address. Member is the username of the current connection. We can also see the traffic count. Phase 1 and Phase 2 selectors. Now let's open the command prompt. We will try to ping the remote site local LAN network. Let's double-check the gateway IP address on the firewall. We can see the LAN gateway is 10.1.2.3. Let's try to ping it from the command prompt. Ping 10.1.2.3, which we can. Notice that the bytes sent and received increases as we do a continuous ping. This means we have successfully configured the IPsec remote VPN. This verifies that there's a traffic on the IPsec VPN tunnel. We can also create shortcut option on the dashboard monitor. Go to Dashboard, tick on the plus sign. We will give a name of IPsec Monitor to make it simple. Layout type is Monitor. Tick Choose Monitor. You can browse this other features. Now go to Network. Choose IPsec. Click OK to apply. Click OK to save the changes. Now we have a shortcut on the dashboard sidebar. To disconnect a remote user, tick on it to select. Choose Bring Down, then choose Entire Tunnel. You need to confirm the process, so just tick OK. The VPN disappeared. This is because it's down or there's no more IPsec VPN remote users currently connected into it. We can still find the VPN entry under VPN tunnels. Notice also that it changed to red and also shows down because it's not already active. Let's launch the FortiClient and try to connect to remote site again. Since we enabled these 3 features earlier, then the second time you connect, it will show these options. Now we can save the password. Click Connect to proceed. We need to refresh the page. You can see that it changed to green and shows up because we just reconnected the VPN. We can view the current connected user again. To disconnect from the FortiClient, open the application and tick Disconnect. Wait for it to disconnect. Sometimes it will take time to disconnect to IPsec Remote VPN, unlike SSL VPN. And now we're disconnected. Well, that's all for today's demonstration, and I really hope you like this video. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click on the notification bell for more amazing tutorials. Thank you and see you in the next video.